welcome back to another episode of the Wrestling Collector Zone. Today, what I have for you is part 2 of the DVD unboxing that I was talking about that we had just had yesterday. So let's get started, just dive right in and check out what we got. Right here is what we've got is Chanka Chaos. The C's Are Silent, which is another Pro Wrestling Guerrilla event. We've got Chris Hero versus AJ Styles, Super Dragon and Davey Richards versus Disco Machine and Excalibur, B-Boy versus Chris Sabin, Christopher Daniels versus TJ Perkins. Next up is a Revolution Pro Wrestling. The reason I picked this up because Super Dragon is on it. It's Above and Beyond. It looks like almost every wrestler is masked on here. But we've got like Scorpio Sky versus Super Dragon, Toro versus Super Dragon, Disco Machine versus Chris Bosch, Toro versus Quicksilver, and a few other matches. Next up is the Gentle Art of Making Enemies. This was January 2009 Pro Wrestling Guerrilla. And it looks like we got the Cutler Brothers versus Los Luchas, Austin Aries versus TJ Perkins, Joey Ryan versus Shooting Star Bobby Quince, Bryan Danielson versus a professional Scott Lost, El Generico versus Chuck Taylor, and a few more matches. Next up is Against the Grain, which is again another Pro Wrestling Guerrilla event. And it looks like we got Brandon Cutler versus Brandon Gatson versus Johnny Goodtime versus Malachi C.K. Jackson. Kenny King versus Davey Richards. Scott Lost versus Joey Ryan. Brian Kendrick versus Roderick Strong. The Young Bucks versus Men of Low Moral Fiber, which is Kenny Omega and Chuck Taylor. And many more matches. Now we are getting into the Ring of Honor events. This is one specifically that I did order, which was ROH Winter Warriors Tour for January 30th, 2015. This took place in Dearborn, Michigan. And the whole reason that I actually ordered this one was because when I met Cody Rhodes at Ring of Honor, the Ring of Honor show that I went to, Soaring Eagle Casino, we were talking about wrestling shows, live shows, going to wrestling shows, and he had asked me if I've ever been over to Dearborn to one of the Ring of Honor shows, and I had told him no, and he said that he'd suggested, that if I ever got the chance to go over and check it out, because he said that's actually his favorite place to wrestle in Michigan on the Ring of Honor shows is the Dearborn show, because of the way that there's like not really a locker room, and that the wrestlers are just right in the crowd kinda and stuff like that, and there's a lot more interaction. So I wanted to pick this up to see what I could see the differences and everything like that. This one has Roderick Strong versus Jay Lethal, the Romantic Touch versus Drew Onyx, Matt Taven versus Matt Sydal, Jimmy Jacobs versus Tadarius Thomas, and many more. Next up is Ring of Honor War of the Worlds Tour, Saturday, May 14th of 2016. This took place in New York City. And this is a show that New Japan was collabing a little bit with Ring of Honor. You got the Bullet Club, Adam Cole and Matt Jackson versus Rainmaker Kazuki Okada and Tomohiro Ishii versus ROH World Champion Jay Lethal and Roderick Strong. Non-title match, Naito versus ACH. Addiction versus War Machine. Cedric Alexander versus Donovan DeJack. Juice and Thunder Liger and the Briscoes versus Gorillas of Destiny and Hangman Adam Page, and many other matches on here. And then Glory by Honor 13. And this has the main event is the ROH World Championship. Jay Briscoe defending, and then we got first time ever Adam Cole versus Christopher Daniels. Will Ferrara versus Adam Page. Mr. ROH Roderick Strong versus Frankie Kazarian. Tommaso Ciampa versus The Romantic Touch, and many more. Next up we have is ROH Summer Heat Tour, Cincinnati, Ohio. This was 2014 when Kevin Steen was still there. And this has Mr. Wrestling Kevin Steen versus Last Real Man Silas Young. The Decade versus Cedric Alexander, Caprice Coleman, ACH, ROH World Television Championship, Jay Lethal champion with Truth Martini versus Romantic Touch, ROH World Tag Team Championship, Red Dragon, which are the champions versus Rocky Romero and Tommaso Ciampa. There's some bonus content with an extra match, and there are other matches on here besides what I listed off. Next up is ROH Field of Honor 2014. This is when AJ had left TNA. He had become an independent contractor at this point, and he was already wrestling in Japan and was the IWGP World Champion. We got Jay Lethal versus Matt Taven, steel cage match for the ROH World Television Championship. Brutal Burgers versus Moose and R.D. Evans. The Decade gives an opportunity. Rocky Romero versus Michael Bennett. ROH World Tag Team Championship match. Red Dragon versus Christopher Daniels and Frankie Kazarian. And there are other matches as well. Next up is Honor in the Heart of Texas. This was from 2013. And it looks like we got a Jay Briscoe versus Davey Richards, Unbreakable Michael Elgin and BJ Whitmer versus Scum, Adam Cole versus Red Strong, Bobby Fish versus Raymond Rowe, Jay Lethal, Athena versus Barbie Hayden, Mark Briscoe versus a member of Scum, Kyle O'Reilly versus Mike Sydal, and more. This one, we've got Anything Goes Street Fight. Oh, this is the eliminating the competition. We've got Anything Goes Street Fight, Necro Butcher versus Brody Lee, Austin Aries versus Sami Callihan, Bryan Danielson versus Delirious, Brent Albert versus Claudio Castagnoli, Eric Stevens and Bobby Dempsey versus Kenny King and Rhett Titus. And that is the cover there. And then we got Dragon's Reign. This was in Bell Vernon, Pennsylvania in 2013. We got Jimmy Nuts versus Dalton Castle. Special challenge match, Unbreakable Michael Elgin. Proving ground match, Matt Taven versus Tadarius Thomas. Tommaso Ciampa versus Vinny Marseglia, I think is how you pronounce it. The American Wolves versus R.D. Evans and QT Marshall. And there are more matches. Next up is ROH War. This was 2013 when Steen was still there. Looks like we got an ROH World Championship, Kevin Steen versus Mark Briscoe. Red Dragon versus Alabama Attitude. American Wolves versus Caprice Coleman and Cedric Alexander. BJ Whitmer versus Rhett Titus. God's Gift, QT Marshall versus Darren Dean. And many more matches. A Night of Hoopla from 2013, and this was in Marionette Park, Illinois. Looks like we got Red Dragon versus Roger Strong and Cheeseburger. Davey Richards versus Silas Young. Matt Taven versus Eddie Edwards versus Adam Cole. Plus, there are a lot more. There's interviews and other matches. Next up is Brew City Beatdown 2012 in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. We have Jay and Mark Briscoe versus Kevin Steen and Jimmy Jacobs. Border Wars rematch, Eddie Edwards versus Rhino. Special attraction, Michael Elgin versus Silas Young. Special challenge, Roderick Strong versus BJ Whitmer. And there are, looks like, about 3 or 4 more matches on here as well. And then last but not least is a New Dawn. And this was in 2013 in Hopkins, Minnesota. Looks like we got for a main event ROH World Championship. Adam Cole as the champion versus Honor Rumble winner. Mark Briscoe versus Silas Young. Unbreakable Michael Elgin and Jay Lethal versus Adrenaline Rush. There's a 15-man Honor Rumble battle for a shot at the World Championship in the main event. Die Hard Eddie Edwards versus Michael Bennett, and many other matches on here. And that is it for the Ring of Honor and Pro Wrestling Guerrilla order. I really look forward to breaking into these DVDs, checking them out, watching all the matches, because honestly, every match I look at, once I read them off more and more, it's just, I am interested more and more as I read. It is insane. I've got a box of almost about almost 40 DVDs here to watch. I really look forward to watching them. As I watch them, I will be bringing more reviews to you guys. So I'm glad that I've got more DVDs picked up. This way I can start breaking into watching DVDs versus just watching off of the WWE Network, because the reviews off the WWE Network are starting to get a little bit old, because everything that I'm talking about is pertaining to either WWE, WCW, or ECW, that rewires and goes right back to WWE. And I am not a huge fan of WWE, as I've stated in the past. WWE is nice and all. They got some good wrestlers, especially that have come through NXT. Their main roster, I'm not a huge fan of, but they do have some pretty good wrestlers on the main roster still. But like I said, this way I can start breaking into the indie stuff. I can go back to the past and look at like AJ Styles old matches and Super Dragon and Samoa Joe and Christopher Daniels before AEW rolled around, before AJ Styles signed with WWE, after he left Impact or TNA, or even during the early days of TNA. Some of these events that were happening, they were working with Pro Wrestling Guerrilla on certain stuff. So it'll be great to break into these DVDs, check them out, and be able to do some reviews for you guys, share the information, and see if you guys are interested in hopping on over to iSplits.com, which we are not sponsored or affiliated in this video whatsoever with them in any way possible, but they offer a great deal, especially on the grab bags, if you are interested, because the grab bags, you end up getting 10 DVDs, and by the time you break that down, the cost of the DVD, yeah, you may not be choosing specifically exactly the DVD that you want, but you're breaking down the price of the DVDs. Say you get the 10 DVDs, the bag's going to cost you $30. Well, or 25 or whatever it is, I can't even remember what it is. But basically, once you break that price down, what you're looking at is what? $3 a DVD? $2.75 a DVD or something like that? You can't beat that. Even at like $40, 10 DVDs, you're looking at $4 a DVD. like, that's an amazing price, especially on Pro Wrestling Guerrilla and Ring of Honor DVDs. And the DVDs that I got, I am severely happy with. I'm not disappointed at all. It would have been nice to have a little bit more mixture with some more current Ring of Honor or a little bit more current Pro Wrestling Guerrilla, but I'm not going to complain because regardless, I will be watching these, I will be checking these out, and this will let me go back to the beginning and check out what was going on in the beginning of Pro Wrestling Guerrilla and Ring of Honor and stuff like that in the early days. So I'm really happy with the orders that I got from High Spots and what they pulled for me in my grab bags. So thank you very much, High Spots. If you guys by chance do see this, I know you won't whatsoever, but regardless, if I was you, I would hop on over there, check it out, and maybe order you a grab bag or so, or just check out and see what they have to offer. Maybe order a couple DVDs or a signed picture or something. They got fair prices, especially on like signed autographs. You're looking at most of the autographs range from $20 to about $40 or so. It just depends on what you're getting and who you're getting. They also do weekly auctions as well. They do a Saturday auction at the Boss's Table or whatever, which is usually a better mixture of everything with bare bone bottom dollar prices, how low they're willing to go. So I'd say if you're going to jump in an auction for High Spots, then I would do it and watch for a Saturday auction at the Boss's Table. Get on their Facebook and it'll be posted there when they go live, and just check it out. Because a lot of the DVDs you can get that are more current, that are $20 on their site, you can usually get them for about $10. So I would check that out, and then like autographs, most autographs you can get for $20 to $25. But otherwise, thanks for joining me. Make sure you hit the like, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you get those notifications whenever we go live with our videos. Also, make sure you let everyone else know and all your friends know about our channel. That way we can get to 100 subscribers, start doing the giveaways. At 50 subscribers, we will do one giveaway. Once we hit the 100 subscribers, we will do a large giveaway, and then we will start doing like a weekly giveaway probably. If we can keep up with weekly, we'll just have to see how it works out. If not, we'll go to like a monthly or bi-weekly giveaway, something like that. We'll just have to see what's going to work with the channel, how many subscribers we have, how many likes we're getting, how many shares we're getting, you know, and all the comments, stuff like that, because we have to stay current and get up there on YouTube. So make sure you drop some comments, stuff like that, get us ranked up there. Any questions, comments, whatever. Even if you want to say, hey, your video sucked, go ahead, post it below. I'll appreciate the comment regardless. Thanks for taking the time to watch, you guys. Make sure, like I said, you subscribe if you haven't subscribed. This was the Wrestling Collector's Home. Thanks for joining me. Have a great day.